Welcome to the live stream. My name is Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios, and want to welcome here to Studio A. Tonight is going to be a little bit of fun. Let's see, do we have a better pair of glasses here so I can look back at you? Let me know if the audio is okay. Let me just double check in my audio settings here. It looks okay. It might be just a little quiet. Let me know if it's too quiet. I just raised it up just a touch. Let's switch glasses for a minute. And we got lots of things planned tonight. We're going into the garage. I'm actually going to be using my phone as a main camera in there, but I needed to follow the chat, and it helps me keep in touch with the chat. So transition will be just a little less smooth because I do have to hook that camera up. And in the Studio B, we have the PreSonus Studio Live 32SC. I have my speakers set up. I have 3 monitors set up. I only have 1 monitor on right now in the studio. And just a sneak peek, this is Garage Cam. So, and if this, if I get a lot of likes today, we will spin the light there, you can see. So you guys will have to hit the like button. And if I feel like we have enough likes based on how many people are here, then we'll have the light go on in Studio B. So haven't done any work in Studio B other than projects and things I'm doing in there, but I haven't done any of the construction. So I'm literally going to be in the garage. The cars are outside. I have 2 air conditioners running in there right now, 2 portable units. What I do is I lift the garage door up just a little bit, put the vents at the base of the garage, close it back down. I have 2 of those, and then I fill in the gaps in our big double car garage. I'll show you guys that tonight, though I will be turning those off. I'll be using the DJI mic in that room with the Atem Mini Pro. I'm still working on figuring out how to stream audio from the Studio Live 32SC into a Atem. I did some playing around with it today. I think I just have a cheap cord from Amazon. So I needed to rob one of my nicer cords that are in here. But I'm using them tonight, so I didn't want to unhook anything in here because I'm starting in Studio A and then we're moving to Studio B. So let's go ahead and put chat on the air here. We clear that and see if Aaron Precky's plug-in is working tonight. I think first in tonight was Hank. It's good to have you in, Hank, all the way from Bluffton, South Carolina. And there's really, really, really good shrimp down in that neck of the woods. So you're welcome, Hank. He says, thanks again for the last Tuesday's in-depth review of the Atem Mini Extreme Select Bus features. Yeah, I don't use the Select Bus. I mean, right now I have Key 1 on Luma, and you can see it right on the bottom. So if I was just to change the input to that to like camera 1, you can see camera 1 goes into it, and that's using that. So we'll go back to media player 1, and that puts my logo down there. And so again, it's a great tool. I just don't use it. I'm using macros. I'm using mix effects, which we are going to talk about in a couple weeks. Now, let me just say this right off the start here. So if you guys are tuning in, I will not be live next week. Shannon and I are going out of town. The way it works is a couple times a year, if we're lucky, Shannon has enough space in her schedule. She's a midwife, and if all the babies are born, then she can get out of town. And she had 3 babies in 3 days last week. Now, she didn't personally have 3 babies, but she had to be in homes doing home births. And so she is off call. She still has appointments during the week. So we moved some things around. We'll be busting out of here Sunday morning. I will not be back here in the house until Friday morning. It looks like we're going to drive back early so we can get one more night, one more evening out. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then back Friday morning. So I will be live the following week. So again, that's just an update. So it's good to see you, Hank, and thank you for the thank you. We have Doug in the house. Good to have you, Doug. Go check out Doug's channel. I popped over there. He had a video, I think, went up the last couple days, or maybe I just caught it the last couple days. So pretty cool device if you're into Star Trek. So go check that out. And there's lots of other cool stuff on Doug's channel. So Freddie's here, ready to see all the stuff in action. Well, good for you, Freddie. I'm not sure that Keith is ready, but I'm glad you are ready, Freddie. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. I saw Jay in the house. Good to have you, Jay, all the way down there in the chat. Okay, hit record. Again, thank you, Hank. I'm hitting record. Don't really care about this beginning stuff, but thank you for catching that. I do want to have some of this footage. I am planning on, at some point, doing some upload videos, but I've been spending all my free time learning how to mix audio again. That's why everything's set up in the garage. That'll be fun tonight, so you guys will get a look at where I've been hanging out in the garage tonight. So we're going to go there. Freddie says Skycam is cool. I appreciate that, Freddie. I'm using OBS right now to display chat, but I could easily go back to Skycam and pop that on the air, and there I am from the back view on Skycam, and back with chat on the air just like that. Chat on the air. So let's see. Anything else? Oh, let's see. Chat's finally coming in, populating. Akil, good to have you here from Germany, as always. It's great to have you. Hi back to Freddie. Lots of people saying hi to each other. That is really cool. I think that should be the etiquette in the chat. Yeah, I got it now, Freddie. I am recording. So thank you for reminding me that. How hot is it outside? Well, Jay, that is a great question. Today, I think it was about 80, 82. I didn't look at the temperature. I was able to get the garage down to about 72 using 2 air conditioners. They're great for small rooms, but I have a 3-car garage, so it's a little hard to cool it off. There is an insulation on the right and left of Shannon's office, so some heat does get in there from the roof and come down into the garage. I need to insulate there. And on the other side as well, so it does heat up. Plus, I have the top of the garage door cracked. So that lets heat in. It also lets heat vent out. So that's all I know. But in the garage right now, I think it's about 72 degrees, and we're going to be moving there here real soon. So hang tight. So I don't really have anything major planned in the studio tonight, A. Pretty much everything I have planned is in Studio B. But I did want to steal one of these MC lights and just give a shout out to Aperture. I know Freddie sent me a link today. It looks like Aperture is getting ready to do some kind of announcement. And so I will put that in the comments tonight. And but I like these little MC lights. You can get them pretty cheap now. You can use the Sidus Link app on your phone. And I have 5 of these, even though one will not reset in Bluetooth now. But I did make my charging case, and it's not really there's not much ventilation in there. So when I stick these inside, it's surrounded by foam in the case, and I think they're overheating in there. So I may be coming up with a different solution for holding them over the chargers in my new case that I made. And I think most of you guys saw that. I'm going to grab it real quick, so stay right there. So this is my charging case, and you can see I have foam cutout, and then under here are some chargers. I just bought some round chargers from Home Depot, which is a hardware store, and then bought this adapter. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 USB-Cs plugged in, so I could charge 8 lights. I only have charging spots for 4, and then I have this portable battery. It's also a portable charger. You can drop them on here. They charge from the back. So I built this, and Absolutely love it. I use it every week. I have lights spread out through the studio right now. So we'll set this down. And then you can also put these covers on the MC lights just to give it a little bit of softer light. So let's pop this on here. I don't know, it's been a long while since I showed these, but I really like these lights. They have a pro version out now. It's actually a couple $100. I haven't bought any, but now you have a softer light. So you could use this as a fill. If you were just, on a Zoom call using portrait, you could use this as a zoom. It goes brighter than that. I think I'm at 41% right now. So I will crank it all the way up. So that's full brightness, and you can see that's a pretty bright light as I go around my face when it's 100%. Now at 100%, the batteries will last about half of my show, but if I have it set at 50%, which is where I keep them, I can get these through a whole show. And I was using one of these tonight to light up the Batmobile and the TIE Fighter in my Skycam. So just a little bit behind the scenes in the studio. One of the mini tools I use let's see if I can get out of the way here. On this right here, there's a light right on the shelf there. There's another light on the shelf there. And I think I have, another light right there. And then on the Batmobile, in front of Batman, I have a light. Let's turn Skycam on to do this justice. So let me take you over there. So there's a light on each one of those shelves. And then, see it better now. And then, what's going on here? Let's do, what did I do here? Let's turn chat off the air and let's turn Skycam on the air. And so there's one right next to that Batman. Sorry, that's not bigger. I can zoom up here real quickly on Skycam. Let's see, zoom up. So there's the light on the bottom right there on the shelf sitting there. So let's zoom this back, put it back where it's supposed to go here. Somewhere around there. Turn that back off. So, well, did I get them all? Let's see, one more. This shelf over here. So I have this one right here. I stood it up, but I had it down before we started, so it's lighting up the TIE Fighter, and it's also lighting up that, how did I get, I turned the wrong one on. So it's lighting up the TIE Fighter, and it's lighting up my little robot right here on the shelf. So that's a little look behind the scenes in the studio. And the only reason I'm sharing that is I think these little things, at least for me, it's important. So I think that those lights on the shelves add some pizzazz. So these are nice portable lights, battery inside of them. And again, you can remote control them from the Sidus Link app. And it's a really good app. You can even control effects where the lights will go from one light to a different light. So you could use it for a shoot or something like that. And you could drop them in things on a shoot, like in the background. So like that little cup on the table, this could be just a really good highlighting light for that cup. So I'll show you. So now it's a little accent light on that cup in the back of the scene. So just little things like that. It could be a plant, just add some light. You could do some backlighting to add some rim light, and it just sets things apart. And I think those are little cool little tips and tools that we use in the studios to just add some pizzazz to the picture. And again, lighting is crucial for good video production. And if you haven't worked out your lighting, that's definitely something that I would recommend that you do when you are live streaming. Okay, so let's put chat back up here and we will get going here after we catch up with chat. Let's see what else we have here using the mouse tonight on the Wacom tablet. Think I'm caught up there. I am recording now. Yeah, let's get this right. I need to sort this out, Todd. I will work on that. Toto, that's right. So I will try to program the old 62-year-old brain and say your name right. So thank you for coming, Toto. I appreciate having you on the live stream, and I apologize for saying your name incorrectly. So, okay, so thank you. Audio is okay. I hope. It looked a little hot when I was looking at it a second ago. Probably got too excited. Okay, so any other questions in Studio A before we move over to Studio B? So let me know. I will watch the chat here. It's faster on my phone, and then we will pop in there. So again, not this Tuesday, tonight I'm live, but next Tuesday I will be gone, and then I will be back in the studio the Tuesday after that. I'm hoping to take my laptop with me and my hard drive where I've been recording and do some of the unboxing videos on the Studio Live equipment. So basically a quick intro from me and then go right to the unboxing segment so people can just consume those separately. I have seen an increase in views on my live stream since I've been doing the Studio Live, the Yamaha speakers, the stage box, all of that. For the Furman power strips, power conditioner, all those things seem to have added extra views to my channel. And so interesting data. You never know what's happening. I was going to look here. Let's see. One more thing while I'm waiting for any questions that you have. Looks like I have 1,870 subscribers. It's taking forever to get to 2,000. So I would really appreciate likes tonight. And if you decide to share these videos, I do appreciate it. Obviously, how do you go and progress if you don't grow? So I believe in growth. I think if you're not doing things right, you're in trouble. So, got a lot of things to do in the other room. So if no one else has any questions while we're in this room. This is a good question. Yeah, I have. I do have lots and lots of footage from my live streams, and it should be used. I keep most of it. I even have some ISO tracks. If you don't know what that is, the Extreme ISO recorder, the Atem Mini Extreme ISO, they'll record each camera. So just because I don't have a camera on right now, I could be recording that camera. I'm not tonight. I'm recording exactly what you see. So until I take the chat off the air, that's what's on that recording. But the advantage of having that recorded in ISO tracks would be as I could just take, and I did record ISO tracks when I was doing the unboxings. And so I could just do a quick clip of unboxing the Yamaha 15s or the Yamaha 12s or the Studio Live board or the other things I unboxed. And hopefully if the footage is good, then I could do some shorter unboxing videos. So to answer your question, Jay, yeah, I have in the past. I just have been super busy during the weeks doing other things. And I just haven't had any time to do any editing, but I still have all the footage, and I'm hoping on our little trip that I'll be able to edit a couple videos. And I've done a couple shorts, just little things, but nothing major uploaded on my channel, just been live pretty much every week. And tonight we're going to go to Studio B. So any other question? Jay passed 1,050 subs. That's awesome. I know his channel has been growing. He's been on live Monday night, so make sure you check it out. It's good to have you, Eric. Thank you. I will try to keep trucking. You never know. Sometimes a truck is working great. Sometimes a truck isn't working great, but I appreciate all the love. I do. I really do appreciate lives. I love being able to be inside my studio and either be in a Zoom call with someone, which I do quite often for my business. But that's slowed down. And I've added live audio equipment. So I'm going to be doing more live events, not even promoting or advertising that right now, just learning every aspect of the board. Then evaluating what equipment I need for different type gigs. Borrowed some dance lights from a friend of mine to do a dance party with my granddaughters. That was a blast. I'll be showing some footage of that in a future live stream. So yeah, I really do appreciate you guys being on live with me on Tuesday nights. It makes a big difference when you do these things with people rather than doing it just by yourself. Okay, so this transition, I noticed that camera, my Canon 5D Mark III in the garage has timed out. So I will have to flip it on. So I'm just evaluating here. Do I dare go to a blank screen? What are my options here? Let's do this. Let me go into... The nice thing about the control software and mix effects is I could go right now into my Atem Mini Pro through connections. Let's do this. Now let me let you guys see this. Nothing's showing on my screen. Let me drag this over. So I'll show you this right now. You probably already know this, but turn that off and let's do this. Me and a laptop should pop up here. Okay. So if I go up here to File, this is my Atem software control, and it doesn't show you anywhere except for up here on the top what Atem you're connected to. And I have 3 powered up tonight. I have 2 extreme ISOs in this studio, and I can change those, an Atem Mini Pro in Studio B. So I can go into the Studio Pro by hitting Connections, and then here it is right here. So now I'm connected to the Pro, and I've lost this camera that's live, but I can go like this, populate all of my still images, and I could put that in the background and then go to Media Player 1, make it live, and then get out of here, back into ISO 1. Then ISO 2 is the other extreme in the studio. Now I'm back on my main. This is streaming live right now. I'm live on this extreme. So if I wanted to demo something, people have asked me why I have 2 extreme ISOs in my studio. If I wanted to demo something in the output part without showing my key, I can just go to Connections, click on this extreme ISO number 2, and now I could go up to Outputs and show you this screen right here when I'm training in my studio. So when I'm teaching someone how to use this, this is exactly why I have 2 in my studio. Now I feed this with inputs, and then I send them through the 2 outputs, and I can matrix control those. Here's output number 1. So if I want output number 1, which comes into channel 3 on my Atem Extreme ISO 1, I can choose all of these items and bring them in. And then output number 2 comes into channel 4 of my Extreme ISO in my main studio from my second one. So I could bring those in. So I could make any one of those signals live, and I can show all the screens without worrying about giving up my streaming key, which I've learned over time. So I would suggest, if you have 2 extreme ISOs, you watch some of my videos about that, because there is a lot of things that you have to learn to do. and how to sync them up. But the cool thing is that those extremes have two outputs. And so because they have two outputs and they have a matrix on both of those, and you also have access to the first matrix on the Atem Extreme ISO or the Extreme itself. So you can just push the buttons to change what's going through your input, your output number one, which is great for changing what's on your screen. And then you have output number two that you can get to through the menu and use it as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mute this microphone. We're going to go in and get set up. I'm taking my iPad, I'm taking my iPhone, and you're going to have some silence here for a minute. And I'm not going to re-roll the intro. So we're just going to have some silence. So I'm going to mute this. Let's change camera angles and let's go like this. And I'll see you in just a minute from Studio B. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. I think you guys should have me live. I guess I need to actually adjust this camera. Oh, we'll just live with it. So here I am in Studio B. I have a green screen behind me. And we're going to attempt to take a look at this beauty right here. I have the PreSonus Studio Live 32 SC. Let me know in the chat if you guys are getting me. Let me cut back to this camera. And I'm going to leave that green screen up for a minute, but let me get into the chat here and just make sure you guys have me. Yep. Cool, it's working. Cool. So let's adjust this camera just a little bit. Okay, we'll use that mobile here in a little while. I can tell that I don't have the green screen completely over. Let's just move that a touch. Good enough. Okay, so the goal tonight was to try a little green screen. So let me get back out of the chat. The mic is a bit hot. Okay, we'll use that mobile here in a little while. I can tell that I don't have the green screen. Hopefully that's a little better. Yeah, and I hear the latency. So the receiver's right here. I don't know why I'm getting latency. Check. What is that? Let me do this real quick. Let me know if that's any better now that I made an adjustment. Move over a bit. Okay. Cool. Just waiting for it to check the audio. Interesting. Let me try one other thing here. Let me mute this. Unmute. Are we any better? Just listening to the audio here in the delay. Sorry, guys. So what's happening is I am going through the Atem Mini Pro to my streaming bridge in my other studio, and then from the streaming bridge it comes in from that channel, which I believe tonight is channel 4. I'm using the streaming bridge directly into channel 3 or 4 in there. I have the audio turned on, so it should act just like a camera in the studio with audio on it. So, okay. I apologize for the audio. I really do not have an option B in the studio tonight. I did not bring in my Rodecaster Pro. I guess I should have. So let me know if it's good enough for us to continue, or do you want me to go back in the other studio where there's better audio and just bag it? Yeah, and Freddie, I'm not set up. I don't have an output right now from my Studio Live 32 SC into my Atem. So I had a bad cable, and so it's not set up. So now I could use this microphone, but that's coming in right here. So whatever I play in the studio, so I'm talking in the main speakers right now. Let me mute this mic. Okay. Hank says the audio is acceptable. So let me just take you guys through the board here real quick. So I'm going to switch cameras. Let me get out of YouTube here and back to Mix Effects. I got YouTube down on the bottom here, so let me close it. I don't want to listen to it. So let me. Just turning down my iPad so I'm not listening to that, and then back to Mix Effect here. So okay. So let me go to the full switcher here, change the camera to. So here's the board. I do not have my picture-in-picture set up here. I guess I could mess with it real quick. Let's go to upstream keys, go into DVE, fill source, camera 1, and turn it on the air. It's full screen. I don't need it full screen. Why is it doing that? Okay. So let's see. Nope. That DVE is not working, so interesting. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Gotta roll the best I know how here. So let me just fix the camera so it's not gonna time out on us. Where are you? Not used to it being over my head. So back to that look, and you guys can just listen to my voice while I talk about it. So you have 16 channels. I have auxiliary 15 and 16 turned up. I was trying to do a linked channel. So if I want to link these two like they're linked right now, see the faders are rolling together, all you would do is select it and then hit the link button right here. So if I hit the link button, let me get out of the camera shot, hit the link button, now they're not linked. And if I want to link it, which is making it like a stereo channel, then I just hit the link button. And that's what you do if you're going to do like a stereo mix. So you're going to use mix 15 and 16. Now these auxiliary mixes, 15 and 16 on the board are right here. So they are stereoed as well. So I have them linked, and I could unlink those as well. And so this are the mixes. So all the mixes are right here. And what mixes are is they let you choose what you want to send to that mix. So like this is one of the monitors that I have here in the studio, and I have this microphone right here going into it. And that's channel 1. And I actually was able to label it up here, mic 1, on the little LCD. And then this is my wireless mic, and it is on. You can see right there. I believe you can see it. Not very bright. There we go. That button's on. And so if I unmute it right here, go to main mix, unmute this channel, and then bring it up in my mix. So now this is up in my mix 1. And if I want it in the mains, and it's muted in the mains, this mic is muted. This mic is not muted. You can see I'm getting signal here and signal here because whatever you select shows you the signal here. So channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, channel 5. And if you watch this, channel 3, I have EQ on it. Now, if I want to get to play music from the iPad, then I have to come all the way over. This is another bank, 17 through 32. And this is another bank. And this has FX A, B, C, and D. They're also right down here. So if I want to add an effect, I push the button, and then they're up here, and I can choose different effects. So right from this selection. So I have 4 options right here in the corner for effects. You can see it changed to a digital reverb. Effect C is a tap delay, stereo delay. D is a digital XR reverb, and then I can change different presets. So they're right there. And then if I want to bring up these mixes or auxes, these effects, I have to go into this button right here, and here's all the auxiliaries. So if I want my mix 1 to be heard, there it comes. You can hear it in the room. So that's a monitor. So I have to bring the aux up. So the mix mics are up, 1 and 2. So I took 1 out. So I just have my handheld microphone. And then if I go back into auxiliaries and bring up 1, it will come up in the house. And so again, let's bring down those puppies, aux 15 and 16 I'm not using. So then again, if I wanted to bring music in mix 1, I would bank over and then bring up what happened here? I'm in inputs, mix 1, I would bring up tape. And this is the tape. And I have it muted right now because I don't have it plugged into my iPad. So this mic is now live inside the garage because I have it in monitor number 1. And so I also have it in my mains. And the reason I know it's in my mains, actually it's not in my mains, it's only in the monitor. So if I want to bring it in my mains right now, then I'm going to have to hit main. And that turns this into the main bus. Go all the way over here to channel 1 and unmute it. And then make sure I unmute my mains. And now I'm in all of the speakers. And you can hear some feedback because I have them pretty loud. And so now we're in the main. So I have the main choices here, 16 channels. And the reason I have 17 through 16 is I'm using the stage box. And this only has 16 inputs on the back, but you can have up to 32. And so if you want 32, you have to have a stage box. And we're going to look at that in a minute. The stage box, which we hooked up last week, is right up there on the in the box. And we're going to go look at that here in a second. I want to show you 2 more things tonight about this. So not only do you have the ability to have all of these different mixes, you also have the effects buses. And again, to bring the effects buses on, you turn on effects, and then you would scroll over, and here when you bank over, so I'm banking over 1 page, you have your submixes here, A, B, C, and D, and then you have the FX returns right here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then also, if you go into the input screen, or basically the main screen, and you head all the way over, then you have your effects returns right here as well. And then you have auxiliary A and B in. Those are inputs in the back of the board to bring in off-board effects, and then tape, which is I have set from my iPad. And I'll show you guys that cord here in a second, and we'll plug it in. And then I have TalkBack, and then TalkBack is right here if I want to use TalkBack. And up here, I can hit the home screen, go to TalkBack, and I can assign TalkBack to whatever auxiliary I want, mains, sub-mixes, the different mixes, auxiliary mixes. And so then it comes up in the screen, and you can see all of the effects. You can also see what's going in the auxiliary mixes, what's turned up. You can see 15 and 16 is turned up, and mix 15 and 16. That's because I was trying to work on it earlier. So we'll bring those out at 15 and 16 because they're not needed. So if I go down through here, you can see what is turned up. Okay, let's see, that was 11, nope, 10, nope, 9, nope, 12. Yeah, so you have mic 2 up, and that's it. So let me turn this off so you're just on my lapel mic. So that is one thing I wanted to talk about. And then I can hook up my iPad and play music. I have this adapter right here that I purchased. Let's unhook this from the table. Come around this way, and I have Lightning, USB-C hookup, and regular headphone hookup. And so for the iPad, I can literally plug this in right like that. I'm going to go back to my video. Get out of tonight's stream for a second, go back to an older video, hit play. So I'm playing one of my intros. Let me turn the volume up. And just stop that for a minute. Let's go to mix 1. Mix 1, bank over to tape. Let's unmute it and bring it up. Well, welcome back to the live stream production studios. My name is Steve, and this is the new HyperDeck series part 2. Today we're going to look at hooking. So that is my HyperDeck video, and just to show you guys what I just did, I just brought up unmuted tape. It's coming through mix 1. And if I want to bring it in the mains too, I can unmute it. Now it's coming in the mains as well. We'll remute that. And now we'll just bring that out because I don't need it talking over me. So again, nice, cool board to be using here in live events. And I probably will incorporate this in Studio B so I can do some podcasting, mixing some bands. So when this is not being used portably, it will be a Studio B board. So this will be in the Studio B, guys, and I will be using it. I'll also be using my Rodecaster Pro 2, which I have 2 of them. And so if I'm just live streaming or doing Zoom calls, I'll be using that on my main computer desk. And then this is going to be on a mobile cart, and we're going to take a look at that here in just a second. And that will be able to roll around Studio B with this on top of it. Now I have to make a mount for it. This is rack mountable, so I'm probably going to get a different portable box. But after I build Studio B, I want this to be able to fit right at the end of the desk. So this can go in a rack. You have some ears that you can put on here and drop it into a rack, and that's what I'm going to eventually do. That's why I bought the 32-channel board to use in the studio. So, okay, so we have talked about, let me get back into tonight's stream and look at the chat. Good to have you, David Hunter. David's got a great channel. Go check it out. He plays some great music, relaxing. So check. David hasn't been here for a while. Also, we got David Krishko in the house. Sorry, I can't put chat on the screen in the garage, and I have a green screen behind me. We are going to play with this here in just a minute. See if I can turn the green screen on in Mix Effects. No pressure. And I'm used to having a confidence monitor, so I keep looking at myself in my multi-view, but I'll try to look at the camera and be a professional like I'm supposed to be. So, okay, Freddie says, hi, David. Hopefully it's still working. Can you use one of your pod mics? I talked about that with Freddie. For me, sound is not good, but you can continue. Sorry, Freddie. I will wrap this up pretty quick here because it sounds like audio is whacked. Let me just listen to it here. Check, check. So hopefully we still have audio. Let me know in the chat if we're getting any audio. I don't seem to be getting any in my iPad. Oh, I have it turned all the way off. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go on. I hear audio, so, ooh, it's peaking. What is the deal? Okay, I turned it down another dB. I think it's peaking in, yeah, it says it's +5. Let me know if this is any better. I turned it down. Sorry about the delay, guys. Okay, just so you guys could see it, I have the stage box on and the blue lights on. You have to assign it some streams. It's pretty dusty in here too, so I'm going to cover it. But this is where I'm going to put my board. On top of here, I'll either mount it or get a different box altogether. And then this is the other 32 channels. So I have Neutrix 16s right here and then 8 outputs. I have my mains coming into 7 and 8. And then I have channel 1 is powering this monitor right here. I think you guys can see it. And I have 2 more monitors right here. I'll show you guys my setup here in the studio. So here's what I have set up. So I've got the monitor. I've got, I was attempting to do a aux mix into the Atem, but it's not hooked up right now. It's just laying over the table. And then I have my Furman power conditioner. Below that I have my receiver for my wireless microphone. I've got a network switch, which is networking together. The board is networked. And also the Atem. And it's sending a signal right now. You can see it's live. And that's sending a signal out through this Ethernet cable right here. This goes into the house, into a switch. So it runs along the floor all the way into the house over there. Zoom in. So it's right there on the floor and goes right into the house to the switch in my living room. And then I have these lights, the Elgato green screen, and then I have the camera for the PreSonus 32 SC right there so you can see over my shoulder. And then I have the iPhone coming in, channel 1, right here, the blue. And I have the red is going into the side of
5D Mark III. And then I have my Beta 58 right there, sure, it's coming into channel 1. Channel 2 is going over to my wireless mic kit. And then that's it, other than I do have this adapter going into tape in. I also have a tape out. Still got to learn how to use that. Obviously, power switch again, USB going directly to the computer. I don't have a computer set up. But I can record to SD card right there, or I can come out USB and record 32 channels right to a DAW. And so that's kind of the setup. And then I have this softbox running right here. And that's the nice photo softbox, and that is the Photo Deox LED 200 watt 56. And then there's the 2 air conditioners I have going under the garage door, and you can see it's cracked. I threw a sheet up there to cut out some of the heat, but this is what I do when I'm in the garage door, and I can flip those on. I turn them off for our live stream. So again, I have a monitor there. That's going into mix 1. I have these 2 going into mix 2 and 3. And then obviously I have a 15-inch there, Yamaha, and a 15-inch right there. And then I have my green screen pulled down, and I have a black fabric and a white fabric up there that I can bring as well. And in that rack, I just simply have the power supply. That's the pile that we unboxed. And then I have 3 rack unit. We put this together last week. There's the handles on top that we took off, and we put on the rack ears. And then you can see I have a cat cable coming all the way around the studio, right into the back. Sorry if that made you dizzy. That comes in right here. This is the Cat 6E cable that runs the stage box. So one cable feeds those 16.8, and you can feed up to 32 channels through this as well. And I think it's 400 feet you can run. This is the 50-footer, and I'm also going to get a 100-footer and a 30-footer. And then we will get back to the desk here, see if there's anything else that you guys want to see. Let me get this back in here. Oh, that's not even close. So let's lower it down. Not quite as good as I hoped, but we'll slide it in and make do here. So happen you didn't use an iPhone as your tool. Okay, so one last thing I want to do here. Let's minimize this. Oh, let's see what's going on in the chat here real quick. You guys say anything? Eric says for a garage, it's incredibly well organized, not cluttered, so you can actually use it. Yeah, I've done a lot of cleaning, Eric, in the last week. I did a complete deep clean in the garage, organized things. I'm planning on putting up, I should show you guys that. I'll be right back. The guy keeps disappearing. I'm going to put this up, and I'm going to be able to, Eric, I'm going to be able to hang a curtain all the way across behind the green screen so that I can make that whole wall look clean and tidy. So it'll just be a curtain that goes all the way across. So if I ever decide to use that part of the garage for a shoot, people can't see all the stuff that I have on the shelves. Right now it's hid by the green screen hanging down, but I have 2 of these, and I might need 3 to span across there. So, okay, I wanted to try this, and then I'll get back to the chat. I really want to see if we can do this. I hear it staticking again. Hopefully it'll quit. Let me shut this off for a second. Get a drink. It's hot. Okay. Upstream key. Canon 5D Mark III source. Let's go ahead and do this. This is funny. I'm going to show you guys this real quick. So here's green screen. So if you wondered if I could do a green screen here in the studio with the green screen behind me, I could have done this and then used the flying key to put me down on the bottom, and I just got flustered and didn't do it. Plus I'm using mix effects for the very first time to make adjustments to the key. So you would go down to the very bottom of mix effects. I think you can access flying key down here, enable flying key. And then let's see, padding, preview scale. Can I, wow, let's see. Yeah, I don't know. So let's see, I think it says I can do a preset on the bottom left. Should be fine, but it's not going there. So, oh, here we go. Size. I would definitely need to do some cropping. Let's Y. Whoa. Okay, let's go right there. That's cute. Oh, let's go over here. So there you go. Little playing with the green screen controls. Doing all of this in Mix Effects app. Shout out to Atem Mini. He's a rock star, and check out his new app. He has a new app that you can put crazy things on the front of your phone screen. But again, the idea is to be able to have, for me, to have 2 studios. So I could have a guest waiting for me in Studio B, have the air conditioner on when I get it built, have everything going. You can see there's all kinds of fun things that we could do with green screen. And then I can choose a different source in the background right now. So right now I have my camera 2 as a source in the background. So I can choose different things to put down there if I wanted to, but I only have these 2 images, and of course I'm using my green screen shot. So you can use whatever, and you can see my other hand coming up. There they are, but if I stand right here, it's pretty cool to be able to show you guys. My hands reach forward, but my hands are on the screen. So it's quite cool. In my preview, it's just me on a green background. I can see just the edge of my camera, but because it's really small and I pulled the camera off the screen, you guys can't see it. So I can put my hand out, and it's pretty cool. So love that effect. Plan on using it more in my videos. I do like having this person on the bottom here. Now, if you've watched any gamers playing games live, this is what they do. They have an Elgato green screen behind it. They light it really well, and then they do a key and put themselves on the bottom. And again, using Atem Mini's mix effect, app, there's a look at my light. Using this app, then you have complete control of that key. And then I can just simply switch cameras. So if I go right now to switcher, I should be able to transition from those to one screen that's ready. That's my preview, which is my green screen with me on it. And then that's what you guys are seeing right now. And if I hit auto transition, where are you, auto, upside down, then now you guys just have me. And now in my preview screen is what you were seeing. So if I just hit auto again. And so the fact that I can go down here and access media, so I could put something in the background in the media player. So let's say I wanted to do my other studio. Me and my studio, hold that button down, and then it asks me right here to set it as the background. And so now if I was to make media player the background source, instead of camera 3, then we should have a typical traditional green screen. So let me go back to upstream key, and let's put media player. Let's see, background layer. What is going on here? Okay, background layer. There's got to be a set for background here. I just don't see it. So can't seem to get a different still image in the background. I'm just probably missing something here. If I change the input source, and that puts that down there. So it's definitely not that setting. Let me go into my switcher settings. And let's see. Nope. That doesn't help me. Okay, well, not sure exactly how to get a different image in the background using Mix Effects app, and I don't have a computer in here, and I know exactly how to do it if I had the control software here, but I don't have the control software right here. So we're going to hit mute in here. I'm going to go back into the chat. We're getting ready to move back into the main venue. So let me just get live here and check the chat. It's good to see you, Tony. Oh, let's not do that. Let's make a transition here. My camera timed out. So we've been working with this live here in the studio and showing everybody the layout. And so I have the key off now. I turn the key back on and then switch cameras, turn that back on, then I'm in the bottom right here. And so we've been in the Studio B in the garage and looked around at all the speakers, played with some things, showed different features on here. The biggest thing I'm excited about this board is all the mixes. So I have 16 mixes. So if you're going to do in-ear monitors, you'd make them stereo probably. Then you have 4 effects buses right here, and then you can have 2 auxiliaries, 1 and 2 right here. So I have A, B, and C, D effects bus, and then I could also use 2 inputs to bring outboard effects in. And then I have tape and then talkback all here, and then 16 channels, so 2 banks, bank 1, bank 2. Bank 1 is in the back of the board, and bank 2 is in the stage box up front. So well, that's it from the garage. If there's any last comments or questions before we move back, again, it's good to have you here, Tony. I think I've said hi to everybody else. We're going to go back into Studio B. Did anybody notice that I had a wardrobe change? So I was wondering if anybody would say anything, and I haven't had a chance to read all the comments. I apologize. We were messing with audio. But I actually had a shirt ready to change inside Studio B. So my other shirt, Studio A, my new shirt, Studio B. So I'm in the red in here right now. So I don't know if you guys noticed that or not, but we'll see if I can change back when we go back to the other studio. So, okay. In addition to the bad sound, I also hear a high-pitched hiss similar to a 50 hertz hiss from AC/DC socket. If you understand that, and I have a Furman box that I'm plugged. I have the Atem plugged into it. So power conditioner. So it's weird that I'm getting a hum. It might be because of the air conditioners. It might be because of the lights. I did not plug any of my lights. Oh, I haven't plugged this in yet. So I did promise I would do this. So hopefully there's enough lights. Plug this in before we leave. And there is the light. So thank you for the likes. Thank you for joining me tonight in Studio B. We're going to go back to Studio A here shortly, and hopefully that won't destroy what's left with our audio, but the red light played. So, okay. So I'm going to go back to the camera 3, get back to the main studio. I'll try to answer any of your questions. I'm going to mute these microphones here. Let's see. Turn all the aux mixes down. And inputs, turn all these down. Okay. And make sure all of these are down. Okay, mute my mains. We should be good to go. And I'm going to head into the other studio, and we'll catch back up, and we won't be using this puppy anymore. So I'm going to turn the audio off here in the studio, and I'll see you back in the other studio.
Sorry about that. That was crazy. So obviously audio is going to be an issue in Studio B. And I apologize for all of the craziness. But I did want to take you guys into Studio B. Just bringing in my iPad here. And get out of that, back to this. So that was experience, to say the least. So let me catch up with chat, get my macros up here. Oh, that's the wrong switcher here. we need this one. Connect. There we go. Macros. Let's wake everything up in here, and we'll wrap this up and get caught up with the chat. Let's see. I have chat ready. Let me put chat on the air here. Sorry, guys. Let's just go back through here and catch up. Okay. So let me know if the audio is good now. Yeah, I'll look into this and try to figure out what that was. Again, using a streaming bridge, not sure it's working right, but I tried to do Studio B and tested it ahead of time. Audio sounded decent earlier. I mean, that camera is still hot in there, so I could still bring up the board until that camera times out. So crazy experience, but thank you for your guys' input. I appreciate it. And let me just get back up here. Yeah, I had the noise. I had the ACs off in the garage, so the only noise would be the fan from the back of the studio live, and you can't even hear it. It's so quiet. So it does get pretty hot. I turned the air conditioners back on now. Let me just go into my settings here and kill that microphone. So it is off, that exterior channel, so no audio can come from there. I muted turned my DJ mic off and muted that channel before I left the studio, so you guys shouldn't get any audio from the other room now. Let me move this back over here. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it might have been a noise canceling. It might have been one of my settings in the Atem Mini Pro. I'll just go in those right now and show you guys those. Let's see here. Let's get a mouse working here. So had this at minus 4.49. I had frame delay. I brought the gain down. Maybe I had too much gain right here, probably. I should have checked. I was getting some hum in channel 1, and I think I remember that back when I was using my Atem Live, and I was using channel 2. It's been a long time. And a lot of times when I use my Atem Mini Pro, I just come through a channel. So I would come through one of these channels and just feed the audio directly to the camera. But tonight I decided to do it in a traditional way, and that's come into the mic 1 or 2 input. And they're right here. So I probably had too much gain right here, and that may have what caused the problem. So hopefully it didn't completely destroy tonight's video, but that's what happens when you go live. So those are the settings that I have in the Atem, and not sure what I was doing wrong, but research should tell the story when I get back to playing with it later tonight. So okay, let me move this back over so I can see the chat. And let me put this up right here. It's because it's a good comment. Where is that? Lots of chatter. There's no way I can catch up with chat. I saw a comment here, David, I thought I would address. I just got to find it in my chat display. Yeah. So I actually had, I think he is aware, but I agree. I don't think, this is David said this, I don't think he can actually heard what it sounds like. Well, I could hear it through my iPad. So I took my iPad in there. I had the volume up. So I was hearing some of the artifacts. I guess I should have gone in and double checked the settings. I was using MixFX app, not a laptop or a computer in there. So I couldn't access the control software in Studio B. And once I get Studio B up, I will have complete access. I'll have a computer in there. I'll have a separate iPad in there. But tonight, man, I just set it up. Took about 3 or 4 hours to set up the Studio B over a couple days and get it ready for today. And lighting was good. Green screen worked fine with a couple little hiccups using MixFX for the first time. But it looks like I failed epically with audio, which is not a good thing at all. Yeah, I think you should have good audio now. Let me know, David, in the chat if you do. I had this shirt on earlier when we started tonight. It's also in the still image. So if I pop that on top of me right now, let's turn chat off. So this is the shirt I had in the still image for our still tonight. If you have not seen the other unboxing videos, we unboxed all of this stuff over the last couple weeks. And then we put the rack ears on that stage box. And so those are the different stage boxes that you can get. And we've had these on the table behind me in the last couple weeks. We even talked about how to use this last week. So if you wonder how to use the select bus, it's in last week's video. But again, this was the shirt I had on when we started. And then I put the red shirt on when we changed to the garage shot. So at least I did a little special effect in a wardrobe change, which I've never done ever in a live. So tonight I did a wardrobe change. Okay, let's finish up some of these comments. Yeah, so one of the things to keep in mind, guys, is that if you're using the preamps inside a Atem Mini Pro, Atem Mini Pro or Extreme ISO, they're not great preamps. Mic 1 and Mic 2, they're 3.5 jacks. They don't have great preamps. If you don't get a power conditioner, and I thought, I bought the Furman, I used it directly on the table. So I was using a power conditioner on the table. It's the first time I used it to run audio into the Atem Mini Pro. And the way to get around all of that, Mic 1 and Mic 2, is to buy yourself a adapter or a box where you can put HDMI in it and 2/4-inch jacks into it. So you can feed HDMI signal like this camera view, and then you can feed audio directly into it and bypass the mic preamps altogether. I 100% guarantee you that's what I'll be doing in Studio B, is I will be bypassing the preamps 1 and 2, mic 1 and 2 altogether, and I will be going directly through a video channel. Now, if you leave the audio on all the time, let me show you this. Might as well add some value tonight to this. I'll show you guys how to do this. So right here, you have the option to turn on each of these channels. So I have channel 1, I have it marked camera 1, camera 2. This is coming in from my other extreme ISO, extreme out 1, extreme out 2. And those I can use the matrix to decide what signal I want to come in. So I can go right here and choose what I want to come into channel 3, which is the matrix choices right here. And then I can go into channel 2 and choose whatever I want right here. That's these two channels. So let's say I want to have all my good audio coming through my main camera, which is this audio right here. I could then turn it on and leave it on all the time. So I'll turn it on right now because I have the volume all the way down. So this is what you would do if you were just feeding good quality audio through this camera view, and you leave it on your whole live stream. And it should not have any syncing issues. But remember, if you go to another camera angle, then you could have syncing issues. So I just wish Blackmagic Design would make really good preamps so we don't have to do this. The other choice is audio follow video. So this would only work if I cut to that camera. So, and if you wanted to use a bunch of auxiliaries, mixes like on my studio live board, then you could have 5 mixes of your main microphone going to each camera, but you'd have to buy a box that basically is designed to embed audio in video. And what happens is that when the video gets there, the audio gets there, so there is no syncing issues. Right now, because we have syncing issues, I have to go up here and I have to choose frame delay right here. And I have 4 frames of delay turned on that channel. And on mic 2, if I was using it with my my DJI mic, which I'm not using right now, I was using it in the garage, then I have 3 frames of delay on that channel. Then you can just close these and go up here to file and say save startup state. And that means it goes back to that state every time you reboot an Atem and the control software. So make sure you hit save startup state if you're going to do that. But again, you don't want audio follows video. You would want the audio on all the time, and you would be feeding this HDMI input through a box first, audio into it, coming out of it, HDMI out with the audio embedded into the back of your Atem, into any channel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you have Atem Mini, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can feed any one of these inputs quality audio through one of those boxes. And I have one, but it's designed to go SDI out into my HyperDecks. It doesn't come HDMI out, so I haven't used it because I do not have an Atem SDI input on any of my Atems, so I can't use it. I'd have to convert it, and I don't want to go from a embedding box to a converter, from SDI to HDMI, because it makes no sense at all, so I've never used it. But trust me, I will be going to that new direction, because I usually am on this camera, and lip sync, is going to be an issue if you switch to any different camera, and that's why I go through mic channel 1, and you can see it's live right here on my screen. So let me go back, camera 2, me and a logo. So I hope that helps. It is 5:30. We are going to wrap up here pretty soon. Let me see what else is going on in the chat. Let's see what we're asking here, Tony. Do you have a link to the Atem mic 1 and 2 bypass box? Yeah, I mean, Blackmagic Design makes one, so I will put a link in the description tonight. The one that I have is S6G, so you can do 4K up to 2997 or 30 frames per second. And I did that so I could come out of my EOS R 4K into that box and then embed audio and then go into the back of my HyperDeck. So that box, let me see if I have a picture of that box here real quick, because that is great question here. Let's go like this. what I'm going to do. So I'll bring this full screen here. So now this is SDI in. This is just an example. I grabbed it real quick. So if you wanted to go SDI in from a camera, you do one like this, and you embed audio right here. So the way these work, and this is the SDI to HDMI 6G. So if you were coming from an SDI camera and you wanted to change it to HDMI, this is how you would do it. So I will find one and put it in the description. It might be later tonight or tomorrow, Tony. I will get that. The one that I have comes in HDMI on this side and goes out SDI because I was going to record to my older HyperDeck Mini before I bought my new one. My new one has an HDMI in and HDMI out, and so I can come directly from my EOS R. Obviously, I got to go from mini cable HDMI to standard into the back of my HyperDeck, and that's the Blackmix Design HyperDeck Studio HD Plus, I believe, is what I have. And that will record up to 4K 30 frames per second. So I could get a nice, clean 4K 30 frames per second out of my camera and then embed it into the SDI input on the back of that. And I've done it. And then I come right out of my Rodecaster Pro, right and left, directly into it. So I can just go. And I have a host of cable in the studio right now that can do that. It comes out of my host of switch into 1/4 inch to the back of that adapter. So you feed it two 1/4 inch jacks right there. That would be right and left stereo. And then you embed the SDI input. You guys would be embedding probably HDMI input. So you would be getting a different adapter. And I'm just looking here real quick to see if one of those came up as well. Just checking one more place here. Yeah. Yeah, I will do more research and try to get down to the bottom of that. Here is just a different picture of it. Right here. So you can see this is SDI, and then you have HDMI coming out this side. So they make another adapter that's HDMI on this side. This is the USB port to do firmware updates. And then on the back, it gives you the different ways you can use it and how it's wired. So then on the back, you have switches on the side. So you can flip these switches to get it to do all of these things. So they're quite complicated, but it's a cool device if you want to embed audio. And I know that, let's see, who is it? Can't think of his name right now. Old age setting in. So he was on my live stream once, has his own channel, does a lot of videos on the Rodecaster Pro. If you think about it, drop it in the chat. So chat back on the air here. Good question, Tony. Yeah, the audio should be much better in Studio A. So, yeah, Rode came out with a device that could be used for the same purpose. What it is, it's a little streaming box that has the effects and a single microphone input. So you can come in HDMI, you can come in a single output and then come out of it. So that would be one way to do it. So it is this device right here. Called the Rode Streamer X. I'm just trying to go to Rhodes page here. There you go. So $400, but they're pretty expensive if you buy regular embedders. So you can probably get it for cheaper than that. But this is great because you can see you have a mute button for your microphone. You have a turn on and off for your camera. So you come in with your HDMI in, and then you can come out HDMI out. You have 4 pads that you can program with music, and there's more than just 4. You have banks, so you can bank right and left right here. And then you get all the cool Rode effects, the big bottom, the Oriole Exciter, all the cool things that are built into a regular Rodecaster Pro, but you only get 1 input. So you can see right here, you have 2 USB-Cs out, so you could use this as an audio device for 2 different computers. So that's really cool. And then you have power through USB-C right here. You have a headphone jack. You have 3.5 millimeter and 1/4-inch headphone jacks and a Neutrix. So you could come in with a XLR on the outside, and you could go in with a 1/4-inch mic on the inside. And then you have phantom power. So you can actually use a condenser mic. So for whatever reason you would want to use a condenser. So you have that ability. And then again, you have 4 pads, and then you can bank over to the next bank of pads. I think there's up to 8 banks. There's a side profile. It's about the size of your hand. It's not super large, but again, $399 according to the World Wide Web. Yeah, this is a great question. So let's close with this. Thanks, Hank, for letting me know the audio is okay. So any ideas on what Blackmagic is going to announce? I haven't heard anybody leak anything. I did find out about it today. Thank you, Freddie Ponce, for sending me the links today to Aperture as well as Blackmagic Design. If you look at the kind of what they've been doing, right? The overall picture back in 2020, 21, they were releasing ATEMs, Extremes, ISOs, SDI models. Then we knew they were most likely going to do camera updates, potentially come out with some rack-mounted device. They did. They left out multi-view. They left out ISO recording, encoding, all of that stuff. So Rode jumps in and does their little device. Obviously, I think that's why they did this device. There was a niche for it. So then they did some new cameras that you can actually control over Ethernet and stream to them. So that's really cool. They came out with some new consoles, right? So now they came out with new consoles. Again, they will do some recording, but they won't ISO record, but now you can record program. You get multi-view back. So again, looking ahead, I'm clueless. I mean, I said all that to say that they have hit so many different targets. Remember, they also did new HyperDecks. They've added some new versions of their bigger, expensive HyperDecks, the 4K model, 8K model, 12K model. So lots of things there. They made the ability for you to turn the Blackmagic Design camera sideways, the portable one. I forget what that's called, but wow, it slipped my mind. So that's kind of cool. So you can do portrait shooting. It's just a firmware update. Lots of little changes just to try to maybe drive more income, more traffic. So it would be really cool to see them take the Extremes another notch. And we've talked about having 4 HDMIs, 4 SDIs, maybe fixing the preamps or going to an XLR. I don't know how they do that. I mean, there's pretty big space on the back of an Atem Extreme ISO SDI model. So they might do that. I mean, when they came out with the Extreme, it's amazing. I mean, the matrices, 2 HDMI outs. Then they actually added extra HDMI outs, which is really important in the rack-mounted versions. So I know Aaron Parecki got the biggest one they make, and now he has tons of outputs, inputs, so he doesn't have to use his Blackmagic Design matrix anymore. So the sky's the limit. But if you have any idea, drop it in the chat. So let's see. I think I had that on the air. What they're going to announce on Thursday. I will be here. I will be watching. I'll be listening. I actually did a recording of my reaction of one of their live announcements. I just never released it, but I was actually sitting in the studio watching it live, all recording it, ISO tracks, and I have that video footage somewhere. Okay, so still getting this crazy Aaron Parecki plugin issues. So Rode Streamer X, Tom Buck, yeah. So go over and check out Tom Buck's channel. Love him. He's shouted out on the channel before. He's been in our live chat before. He's done deep dives in the Rodecaster products and really has driven traffic to his channel. I don't get a lot of play on my Rodecaster Pro stuff, so I don't do a lot of videos on it. But someday I will. I've been getting lots of views, at least probably double the views on my videos on the new PreSonus mixers and all of that stuff. So that's been interesting. Yeah, I'd love to see it revamped as well, Tony. Again, great to have you tonight in the chat. Make sure you guys go over and check out David's channel. And great guy. Thank you for being with us tonight, David. So let's see. Yeah, it does have motorized faders. I absolutely love it. And there's lots of reasons to buy the PreSonus 32 Live. The other thing that I wanted to share tonight and completely forgot, they have, what is it called? So when you have a stage box, right, you can also hook another console to it. So what does that mean? So I could have another room in my house with another Studio Live board console, even a rack mounted console using just the software. There's an iPad app. We'll talk more about that in the future here, and I'll show it to you guys. But the other thing they have the ability to do is that you can decide who has control of the preamps, and then they have a feature that you can choose for your stage boxes where the audio stays the same. So let's say I am mixing in a different room, and I have a mix coming to that room, and there's another room with another console mixing it. I may not have control of the preamps, but if all of a sudden someone in the other room makes a change to the master level, I don't want it to change in my room. And you have the ability to turn on a feature for every single channel when you're using the network for PreSonus, and you have stage boxes or consoles, because you can buy a switch and sit it all over your house. So again, because I'm doing Studio B eventually, I wanted something that was going to work for this. I also wanted something where the audio stays static in the other room, so I can turn that feature on and no one can mess with the audio in the other rooms. And I'm just trying to find this here. You love it. Everybody pays to get their ads above everybody else's. So you have this switch. So you'd put this wherever. So you'd come from your Studio Live 32 SC, if that's what you have, or the bigger consoles. You go directly from the Cat 6E output on the back to this switch, just like you would a network, because it's a network. And then you would come out of it. So you could do monitor mixers, which they have as well. So you could use, let's see, it's here. No. So this is the stage box I have. So it has an output as well. So you could daisy chain them, or you can just go to a switch. The advantage of this switch is that if one item fails, and it's not a cheap switch, $500, but if one item fails, all the other items are just coming through the switch. So your main board goes to the switch, and then from there, you have 5 locations, and everything they make has an input and an output. So you could daisy chain, they'll still show up in the network, but everything in that line would go out if one item died, and the switch keeps that from happening. So you could go here to a stage box, then you could go to a another stage box, like an 8-channel box by the drums. Then you could go to a stage mixing console for your in-ear monitors, daisy chain to 3 more on stage or 5 more on stage. Then you can assign those inside the control software in the in the PreSonus Studio Live console. So again, there's a shot at that. So just seeing if the monitor mix is here. Here's a 16R rack-mounted version, so you could just use the software. They also have the 32 on steroids. So you have a place for your iPad right here for the iPad app, and then you also have all of these auxiliary channels, so you just have more features than mine does right here. With auto faders, I have to bank over to get to these, and this one, they're all right there on the front desk, but I didn't want anything that big in my studio. Here is a 32 channel rack mixer. And then they have the smaller 32 right here. And then there is a 24 rack mount mixer. And then somewhere they actually have a headphone device as well, 16 channels that you can use on the stage to mix your own headphone mics. So, okay. So we are going to go here pretty quick, but let me just get through here. So David, you were talking about the HyperDeck audio. Let me see if I can find your other comment. Great. Thank you for doing that, David. I'd love to have you. We'll continue to do crazy stuff. Good to have you, Kevin. PreSonus versus Behringer. Why did you go with PreSonus? That's easy. When I did my research, I was looking at the Behringer products, got other guys. 2 reasons. Well, actually 3. I had one before. I had one of the original 24 digital consoles in my recording studio. So I was very familiar with it. We had a control room and a recording room divided by 12-inch walls with double paned glass with 6-inch space in between. It was a blast. And I used that 24, even though it only records at 48 hertz. It's not like a 96K recorder. But usually you lose channels when you switch to 96K with most digital recording equipment. So I just decided I would record at 48 hertz. And then you're obviously mixing down to 44.1, and that's what goes on a CD. So I got it because I was familiar with the consoles. I'd been watching for 2, 3, 4 years. I love the fact that they have it so it's good for a live console or in studio console. I feel like in reality, they have the best networking codecs and quality over network, and it's proprietary. So specifically designed for them. And their stage boxes are not that expensive. Their preamps sound great. I've used their preamps before. They've only gotten better. And I'm familiar with the app. I own Studio One version 4. It's up to version 6. It is great recording software. They also have a piece of software that lets you record. Let's look at software here. And let me go to this right here. This alone has me, just this one item. This is called Contact, comes free. It lines up with every channel on your board. So if you have 32 microphones on a stage, you open up your laptop or your PC or your Mac, you can record all of those channels. It's already set up. It's already linked. All the channels are assigned. And you could just hit record and you could be recording the whole session. So you could be doing a live event and recording every single channel, wave files. You could bring them into Studio One after it. It links up and then you could do a mix down. So if you had a band or you're doing an event or doing a wedding, it just simplifies things. And that's what I love about it. And so it was an easy decision for me. Then here's Studio One version 6. So I have used this software before and I just really like it. And so once you've used it, it has progressed. Over time, it looks more and more like Pro Tools. But when I had Pro Tools as well as Studio version 4, and both softwares are amazing. But Studio Live with Studio Live consoles integrate. So it's very similar to Avid consoles. But I love the fact that they're analog consoles and not just controllers. So I like the fact that they have preamps built in. So again, nothing wrong with Behringer. I don't have anything negative to say about it. I chose Studio PreSonus because I just like their recording and their live ecosystem. I am having to learn a lot. There's a lot more on these boards, a lot more capabilities of things that you can do. You can design a user page, so you can have a user page to have whatever you want on it, 16 channels at your fingertips. So I could do a drum group, I could do my wireless mic, my other microphone for speakers, could have tape on the front page. So those 16 channels can be assigned to anything, including groups. That's really cool. So I could then mute whatever I want on one page. And so a lot of the consoles have that. So again, there's plenty of good consoles out there. Joe, who attends our live streams a lot, I don't think he's in there tonight, but he actually has the QS5, Allen and Heath, and that is a great board, but it's like $4,000. But it's more channels, and it is a amazing board. So that would have been my first choice if I could afford it, but I wanted to have money for speakers and all that, and I still need to buy a subwoofer. So my accounts are dry for right now until I get some gigs and start creating some more income. Okay, so Tony says hi to Kevin Crawley. So just thought I would pop that on the screen. So, okay. Just looking in here for any great questions. Lots of comments. But a lot of it's about the audio in the other room. Thank you. I had fun with the green screen key. Fumbled the ball, had it working earlier to get a picture behind. This is the picture that I was going to use just to trick you guys. Let me pop it on here, chat off the air. Anybody else hungry? I am hungry all of a sudden. It is time for dinner. This was the plan, and it's right here. I took this picture. So the goal was to green screen myself in pretend like I couldn't get things working in the other room. This was shot earlier today, right before we went live. It would have matched. It would have been a great trick, but I couldn't get it working when I walked back there. So I just went with the green screen behind me. If you watch the video back, and again, I apologize for the audio. So last week we talked about the different things. I had all this stuff in here. So check out that video. Again, changing the ears and put those ears to rack mount that stage box. That's the 16.8. We did some unboxings. If you want to go back and see the Studio Live unboxed and see the DHR12 monitors, that's these right here. If you want to see those, that's great. Then we also had this video as well with the board open and out and ready for people to see. And then thanks to Hank. I also covered this last week. So if you want to know how to use the Select Bus, if you want to find out if the stinger and logo button work, you'll hear about that in last week's video. So check that out and enjoy that. So I also looked at this board. That is the Yamaha board, but it just didn't have enough channels for me. So obviously I went with this one, and right now it's stuck to my face. Let's see if I can get that off. There we go. So that's it for me tonight. Thank you so much for all your guys' input. I'm sure there's other things in here that I should have answered, and I'm so sorry if I didn't get to your comment or your question. Again, hit the like if tonight's video helped you, and ring the bell for all of the upcoming videos. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Trying to break 2,000 subscribers as soon as possible. And I will not be here next week, so keep that in mind. We'll be off. I will be on a little mini vacation with my beautiful bride, Shannon. And we'll be back, leaving Sunday morning early and then coming back Friday early. And then we'll see. We'll have plenty to talk about with Black Magic Designs announcements, and maybe we'll go back into Studio B if I can solve the audio problem. My goal is actually to bring audio into a live stream in Studio B from the Studio Live 32 SC console, and we should be able to pull that off soon. So I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios, and I'll see you in 2 weeks right here in the studio. Until then, be safe, call someone you haven't in a while, and catch up. See you later.